is Michael!
Everything is ready, my darling. Do not be afraid. Soon we'll be together again.
This sandwich tastes as dry as hell.
Hello and welcome to Hello, This is the Doom Show. I am Richard. Folks, I am feeling like Mr. Strike, and just like my guest co-host, we're both going commando. It's Ian. Hello.
Hey, I'm glad to be here to do a review on this movie that I like to call Raiders Romancing the First Bloodstone of the Predator.
Oh yes, we're talking Strike Commando 2 from 1988. Yes, it incorporates all of those films that you just hinted at. This is directed by Bruno Mattei and Claudio Fragrasso, the power team behind the first Strike Commando, which we had a great time talking about, and you were like, by the way, there's a sequel. And I said, well you got to come back.
And I would argue that I do think this film I think they may have had a bigger budget to do better action. I think the biggest thing about this film is, maybe not necessarily in terms of a drop-off, but in terms of a difference, is you have Brent Huff, who I actually think is trying to act, and then in the first movie you had Rep Brown, who was immaculately terrible, and it added to the entertainment value of the film, whereas Brent Huff can actually act a little bit, and it's like, does it work that he's in this film? I mean, he's a guy who went on to direct other films. He's acted in a bunch of other things. He was kind of one of the late 80s stars of Italian genre cinema, along with Daniel Green. It's kind of those two that were in a ton of movies. Brent Huff went on to work with Bruno Mattei a couple other times in Born to Fight and Cop Game, and then he was in After the Condor with Daniel Green, actually. Nice. That's when it came full circle, when they were in the same movie together, After the Condor, directed by Sergio Martino. But I mean, he still acts today. He's directed documentaries. He has a pretty long recurring role in that ABC cop show called The Rookie. So he's still around doing stuff. Yeah. It just tells you that he does have a bit of craft to his, to his work, and it's just a completely different kind of performance from what Reb Brown gave us in the first film.
Yeah, he totally brings it. He makes this movie. It's great. This was written by Claudio Fragrasso and someone we lost recently in the Italian film industry, Rosella Drudi, who just passed away in February.
Yeah, they were longtime partners, and this was, he worked with Mattei from like the early 80s onwards. Pretty much every movie was one they had done together. I think they had a falling out over what's that movie called, the like Freddy Krueger knockoff, the
Night Killer.
Yes, I think that's when they had a bit of a falling out, was in that movie, which is unfortunate because that's
movie.
It's crazy, but it's actually not particularly good. That's almost so bad that it's bad, and not so bad that it's good.
By the way, we're going to spoil Strike Commando 2, which I believe I'll spoil a little. We both recommend you check out. So go watch Strike Commando 2. The only trailer I could find was a trailer that has no dialogue and just plays the music.
The terrible Casio music that you hear throughout a lot of this.
The music in this is completely crazy. It's insane. So I'm going to play some of the music that is particularly circus-like from this pivotal scene in the movie. I'll play that. Let me read read the IMDb plot synopsis real quick, because of course there was no Strike Commando 2 VHS in English that I could read from. So here's the plot. This brilliant action-packed sequel once again centers upon the courageous exploits of a secret elite cadre of American jet fighters fighting to keep the world safe from communism and demented despot rulers. This time they must stop an enemy conspiracy to steal nuclear weapons.
No, that is not accurate.
Would you like to guess what that movie is?
Oh, what it's from? Oh, it's like, I don't know, like Delta Force Commando or something.
This is Delta Force Commando 2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Colon, Priority Red 1.
That was a complete shot in the dark. I think that's like a Fred Williamson, Bo Svensson movie. Yep. I think.
It's another Italian movie directed by Pierluigi. Ooh, this name is going to get me. Ciriaci. Looks like Ciriaci to me, or Ciriaci. But yeah, when I was looking up Commando 2, or Strike Commando 2, this Delta Force Commando 2 caught my eye, and I thought it'd be funny to do that.
Yeah, I've heard it's not particularly good as far as Fred Williamson, Bo Svensson collaborations go. I think it's one of the last movies that, what's his name from Bronx Warriors was in.
Bobby Rhodes?
Not Bobby Rhodes, the star of it. Why am I having a hard time remembering his name right now?
Richard Hatch?
No, the main character.
I don't know who the main character is.
Yeah, Mark Gregory.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they have almost none of the cast listed on IMDb for this one.
Yeah, I think it was one of Mark Gregory's last movies.
Oh, okay. I don't put hold a lot of importance to IMDb scores, but, Strike Commando 2 has an unfairly low 4.7, while Delta Force Commando 2 has a 3.5. It's like, ooh.
I actually think it could be lower than 4.7, honestly. I would not have been surprised if it was lower than that. That's actually fairly respectable.
It's got to be the Richard Harris factor. But anyway, here's the plot.
Yeah, maybe.
Here's the plot from
I have the Turkish VHS synopsis here too that I kind of translated, but I can do that.
Please, that's better than IMDb. I'd rather have that.
Some of it I couldn't quite get right at the end because it's I am not very good at like highlighting things on my phone or my laptop for whatever reason. So some of it at the end's a little cut off. But Manila today, Michael Ransom, former Vietnam veteran, is called to Manila to help his old sergeant, Jenkins, who is now a con man and is failing his life trust. During their meal, Jenkins' guards and bodyguards are killed during a violent attack by terrorists, and Jenkins disappears quickly. And with the help of the American embassy, Michael finds out that Jenkins was the CIA's top man, Feniston, and that what is that? And that he is being held captive in an old prison camp by the Viet Cong. Michael goes to Vietnam without the bow. I don't even know. That might be the end where it kind of cuts off.
I love it. That's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually not bad, really.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Some of the ways that translated might be a little weird, but
so you got translate it from Turkish to Japanese, then to English.
Right.
Then you get the real strange stuff.
Oh boy. Yeah.
We're going to cover some of this plot after we talk about some of the characters. You talked about Brent Huff and his career. I am very curious about both Cop Game and Sergio Martino's After the Condor.
Yeah, I'm hoping After the Condor gets a better release eventually. With all the Martino movies that keep getting good ones, hopefully that's nice. One that's somewhere in the future from like Cauldron Films or something. Brent Huff directed this movie in the 90s called The Bad Pack that I'm kind of interested in. Ooh. If you listen to this cast, it's got Robert Davi, Rowdy Roddy Piper,
nice.
Rafe Moeller, Brent Huff is in it, Marshall Teague is in it, Vernon Wells is in it, Sven Ole Thorsen is in it, and it's a movie he directed. It says a band of mercenaries are hired to combat a militia terrorizing a group of Mexican immigrants in a Texas border town. Like, that sounds pretty interesting.
That sounds awesome. That cast is sick. Next up, we got Mary Stavin. She plays Rosanna Boom. This is our sort of love interest. Definitely a tough gal. She was a Bond girl, this actress. She had a very small role in Twin Peaks, which I was like, who in the world was she in Twin Peaks? Then I looked it up and I was very happy. She was in House, the original House film. And of course, Howling 5, The Rebirth.
In A View to a Kill, she's the one sleeping with Roger Moore at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My Bond knowledge is terrible. I have no bondage. Hey, we got Richard Harris, the mighty Richard Harris. He plays Major Vic Jenkins. He is just Harrising it up as always. I would love to have known what he thought of this movie. Just if he remembered making it, you know.
Now, I propose this is kind of a two-part question. Is Richard Harris the best actor to ever slum it in an Italian genre film, at least for this era, for sure? But also, is this like the highest drop-off you'd expect for a great actor to be appearing in a film like this? Like, imagine, like, for example, if he had appeared in Max von Sydow's role in Sleepless, like that would not be as big of a drop-off.
Sure.
Because that's a role he could have played. And I'm not, that's nothing against Max von Sydow. He's amazing in that role. But I'm just saying Richard Harris could have done that as well. It's like, what is he doing in this film in particular? And apparently, which we have contrasting stories on this from both Claudio Fragrasso and Brent Huff. Brent Huff said he didn't drink at the time because I thought, well, maybe he needed more booze money, which apparently he wasn't drinking at least as much at that time. But Claudio Fragrasso told a story about how he went to Richard Harris's hotel room because Richard Harris wanted him to tell him about the character he was playing, like the character's motivations, that sort of thing. Right. And apparently Harris pulled out a suitcase full of 12 bottles of whiskey that was made by his family. And basically he proceeded to pour Claudio Fragrasso one shot from each bottle, and Harris drank the rest of the bottles.
Wow.
Yeah. So we have contrasting stories on whether or not he was still drinking at that time. And it's interesting because I don't know if he was quite the hellraiser that Oliver Reed was. I don't know if anybody was.
Right.
But if you look at him at the way Richard Harris aged from like the early 70s, when you can see him on talk shows, or we'll see him in movies too, like to compared to this in 1988, where he's 58 years old and he looks at least 70, you know?
This would be like if Peter O'Toole showed up in Robo-War or something.
Right, exactly. No, it's that, because this is right before he gets. Doesn't he get nominated for an Oscar or for The Field or something? I think a couple of years after this, and then he's in Unforgiven. So like he was about to go on a pretty good part of his, like latter half of his career run.
Yeah, man. And then he would go on to play Harry Potter. He played a young Harry Potter.
Right.
Wait, what?
He did, yeah. They de-aged him and all that stuff.
The strangest actor in this movie for me is Mel Davidson, who plays the assassin Kramit, which I think is a funny name. He's in Robo-War, but I don't remember him outside of this movie. Like
probably one of those non-SAG actors that they just hired to play a part.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the credits for Cruel Jaws is another example of this where no one else is in, another movie.
Oh man. This character is really funny. Like this assassin. We'll talk about who he's obvious ripoff of, but he's got a funny sense of humor. I like this character.
Yeah. Like what does he say at one point? Are women courageous because they are stupid, or are they stupid because they are courageous? Then he does the whole get on your knees and beg.
Which is obviously, he doesn't want you to answer that question. That is a rhetorical question, and she answers it. I thought that was funny. Next up, we got the legend Vic Diaz, who plays Juan To, the leader, supposedly, of the largest drug trade in Southeast Asia. But Vic Diaz, his IMDb picture is from that Cameron Mitchell movie where the ship of fools ends up on the zombie island. It's got zombies and ninjas.
Is it a sweaty Cameron Mitchell movie?
Of course it's a sweaty Cameron Mitchell. But he doesn't phone it in. He's in almost the whole movie. Raw force. That's it.
Nice.
That movie's crazy. Legitimately crazy. We got some stuntmen in the form of Ottaviano Dell'Acqua, who's credited with 372 stunt credits. He plays Jimmy. Love this guy in this movie, but he was in Blast Fighter, Rats, Zombie 3. We got Massimo.
He's the worm zombie in Zombie as well.
Yes, that's his claim to fame. Yeah. Covered in clay. Also from the stunt Field is Massimo Vanni, plays Kelly Sellers. This character, I mix these two up because this movie's insane. But he was also in Zombie 3, Zombie 4, Robo War and Cop Game. Amazing.
He is like almost in every Mattei movie.
Yep.
He's one of those guys who was a stuntman, but he would also get put in the movies a lot. Romano Pupo is another guy who did that a lot. He's also in almost every Enzo G. Castellari movie because him and Castellari were cousins.
Ah.
Yeah.
Little family help there. I'm very sad that according to IMDb, Luciano Pagazzi, his frickin' scenes were all cut. He was supposed to be smuggler leader. But
I think there's another Mattei movie where that happens to him as well. It doesn't happen. There's at least one where it doesn't. I think Double Target he is in, but there is at least one other movie where his scenes got deleted. He's, again, another guy who was in all these non-exploitation movies, whether they were Margaritis or Bruno Mattei's movies. He's basically in all of them.
And this is from his beardo phase too. He had the big bushy gray beard around this time.
He was
so
always down by Robert Spafford.
All right, let's get into this plot. We see our pal Michael Ransom in a sweaty hotel room. He's like, "Oh my God, am I back in Saigon?" And he's having a nightmare of his flashback to Vietnam. Good old Vic Jenkins rescuing Michael Ransom in the field as there's freaking explosions going off. People are getting killed. And he's taking the time to dress his wound in the most, I'm pretending to wrap something around something on your leg. He's just going like, he's just doing like a motion around his leg. And there's like all these freaking explosions going off. I hope they film that first to get that out of the way, because that looked like a shitty scene to film. Next thing you know, it's years later, and Jenkins is dead. Later, his buddy comes to tell him, like, hey, I know who had Vic Jenkins killed, or who knows who had him killed. Go talk to this guy. So we meet someone named Peter Rogue, who is this like government stooge that's stationed
in... perfect name for that character, too.
Peter Rogue. I've gone rogue. And my favorite moment here, this is one of my favorite moments in the whole movie, is he comes to see this guy, bursts into his office unannounced, and he's like, "Oh, nice family," in the family photo. Then he hits him in the face with the portrait of his family. Made me laugh so hard. I loved it.
Oh, what a nice family you have here.
Sure enough, Jenkins is not dead, and Ransom just wants to go in there and save him, so he does. There's this amazing scene of him getting in there to save him. There's some tomfoolery with some goons that he outsmarts, and next thing you know, there's a big helicopter assault as he and Jenkins escape. They go to the home base, where he is going to get some diamonds, because he's now lost Vic Jenkins to the helicopter guys. He's getting some diamonds to go and negotiate for his life. And my other favorite scene is they're showing him the radio, and they're turning a dial. And this made me laugh so hard. I'm such an idiot, Ian. I'm sorry. I have to talk about this dumb scene. One of the cables like falls out of the radio. After they touch it, the cable goes, and it just made me laugh. It's not. It doesn't even qualify as a movie mistake. It just made me smile and laugh. But what happens to Ransom when he starts traveling on his little boat?
It basically turns into the same scene from Rambo 2, like literally almost shot by shot, where, you know, it's the same thing that happens on the boat where, you know, the people driving betray him or whatever.
Yep.
And then you see him pulling, basically getting ready to pull out the small knives he has behind his back. He stabs one guy with one, takes a shotgun, kills a couple. Some really good squibs in this scene, by the way. Yeah. Probably the best squibbing moments of the movie, because Mattei doesn't usually go for the squibs as much, but in this scene he does. And, takes a shotgun, shoots a couple of them, and then the boat's about to crash, and then he tries to get off, but then the guy grabs him with the rope. Again, same thing that happens in Rambo 2. A guy from basically the bunk above the boat grabs him with a rope around his neck, and then he takes the giant knife from his holster and stabs him with it. The blood leaks down, and then I think in Rambo 2, the boat actually explodes.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. In this one, it does not do that. He just steers the boat around and then goes to the bar.
They couldn't afford to blow up any more than they already do in the movie,
Right.
so he had to.
Yeah, and it wasn't a hut either. It always has to be a hut that explodes.
He ends up and this blew my mind. He ends up at, speaking of huts, at an old bar in the jungle. And what blew my mind was it's called the Moulin Rouge. Unbelievable. It made me laugh more. Just packing in the great stuff here. And there's a drinking contest going on straight out of good old Raiders of the Lost Ark, where our pal Rosanna Boom, I keep looking at my notes and thinking that's not what's really written there, but yes, Rosanna Boom, she's trying to outdrink this frickin' slob guy. According to the bartender, the sleazy bartender, he tells Ransom, the first one to belch loses. And he goes, belch? And then the guy burps in his face. But she wins. The guy actually belches. And then he starts acting like he's going to throw up. But instead, he just faints. I thought that was very wonderful. Which I'm guessing is what happens in Raiders. It's been a long time since I watched it. Maybe?
Yeah. And I think, do not quote me on this, or as Bill Simmons would say, don't aggregate this. I think the guy in the bar with her is, I want to say he plays Brent Huff's partner in Cop Game. I think he does, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah.
Nice. So then some very special guys show up to end all the fun times. Who shows up at the bar?
The KGB agent played by Mel Davidson.
Oh, baby. Yes, good old Kramit shows up, and he wants these diamonds. They're going to do their exchange, but, things don't go very well. And, of course, Ransom gives him the fake glass ones while hiding the real diamonds in the bottom of a glass of disgusting whiskey that everyone smells and goes, ugh. And hilarity ensues. They start doing the shotguns. The place catches on fire, just like Raiders.
You have a sword fight as well.
And a sword fight. Ransom punches a ninja across the room.
Brent Huff was talking about this too in his interview on the Severin Blu-ray, that these Filipino stuntmen knew how to throw their bodies around a lot. Like they would go, they would flip. They were really good at being animated, in their scenes, and he admired that about them.
This is just a joyous scene to behold. This one's a lot of fun.
Right, and it also is the start of Mary Stavin's she's either a 1 or a 10 this whole movie. It seems like that. She'll when she's talking to the KGB guy, she's like,
We're closed till tomorrow. So haul your ass back to the sewer you came from.
she'll have random times in this movie where she just starts yelling.
Yeah.
She's like
in the same scene.
She's like Jim Kramer. It's like, yeah.
Now we get my favorite, after they escape this big battle scene with the diamonds and no information about Jenkins, they end up sneaking out of there before the place gets blown up, and they start going through the jungle, negotiating what they're going to do next. She wants compensation for her destroyed bar, and she's like, whoa, these diamonds, well, they're going to kill him anyway, so we should just rescue him, and we'll split these things 50-50. The movie has come to a complete stop while they do these interactions, and they're playing the circus music, the meet cute gone horribly wrong at the circus music.
It's so bad.
Oh my God. Oh boy. It's fucking crazy. I love it. There's multiple scenes ripped off of Romancing the Stone, and what was the other one? Yes, they're doing the Predator thing where they're sneaking over to the camp.
Yeah, the part when Arnold pulls out the binoculars near the log.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's amazing is that about her is not only is she bringing too much to her dialogue, she also doesn't know how to move like a human. All of her motions are super exaggerated, especially when she's crawling on the jungle floor. She's like hitting Brent Huff in the face with her butt because she's swinging her butt so much. I'm dying.
I'm envious of Brent Huff in that situation, I guess. But
yeah.
in that regard. But I will say this, she does a good job. Later in the movie, she wields an M16.
Yes.
And she looks really good holding the gun. I will say that much. Like, sometimes people don't look good. It doesn't look natural or doesn't look realistic. She does a good job with it. And Huff does as well. Like, whenever he's using the M60 later in the film. And, like, he looks... to me, a lot like almost like a young Clint Eastwood in Rawhide, like that type of look. Nice. He has that. He looks good with the headband and the cigar as well. I think he does good in this, and he's only like 26 or 27, depending on when this was filmed. So he's fairly young.
Sometimes, some actors, they might be afraid of the guns, like they don't want to get hit in the eye with, some frickin', like the.
No, Brent Huff said she wasn't. She was willing to do whatever.
Yeah. I have this vision of her freaking bicep, like just undulating with the machine gun fire.
Recoiling. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I said undulating, but I said it. She finds out about Han To, which is another argument. He's apparently a very dangerous man who likes to torture women. He ignores her. They split up, and he goes in and tries to rescue good old Jenkins. And one of my favorite lines of the movie.
Welcome to the world of international drug smuggling.
And this is when the double cross, I believe a double cross happens, and he gets captured. Our buddy Ransom gets captured, and we're going to have the first of the Lethal Weapon scenes where he's being electrocuted by Kramit, he's dangling from the ceiling. But what happens while he's being tortured? What is our pal Mary doing?
Well, before that, I just wanted to point out you have a lot of Predator stuff in there, like the scorpion scene for Predator, where he's like Michael, turn around. It's the exact same thing between Bill Duke and Carl Weathers in Predator when he has a scorpion on his back. Like, you do think Vic Jenkins is on his side for a minute, but then it's almost a combination of Rambo 3 came out like 3 months before this movie, and that was the film where Trotman gets captured. So I think that was in the air just enough for them to rip that off, at least the plot idea was. Yeah. And then I think they're doing the whole Lethal Weapon thing where the military person, turns into a drug smuggler, because that's what happened in Lethal Weapon with Mitch Ryan and Gary Busey. So they do that with Richard Harris's character here. Nice. And then when Ransom gets captured, at the same time, Mary Stavin's character Rosanna Boom, is that what it is?
Yep, that's her name.
Yeah. She sneaks in disguised as a prostitute, exactly like Julia Nixon in Rambo First Blood Part 2, and she goes to Wanto. At the same time, Ransom finds a way to escape from Stramit. Is that
Kramit?
Kramit. Okay, I'll have to remember that. Kramit. Okay, that's actually easy enough to remember now that I think about it. He does the same thing that Mel Gibson does in Lethal Weapon by strangling him with his legs. It's the exact same thing.
So, were they just storyboarding from the movie?
Yeah.
I just imagine them. That's crazy.
I mean, there's nothing in the world that you could take a shot of and not be dead by alcohol poisoning by the time this movie is done. If you're taking a shot every time something is ripped off, if you take a shot of Everclear, you're dying 10 times over. You might as well dig 10 graves for yourself.
You're Richard Harris at that point.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. I don't even know if he had that kind of tolerance.
Oh my God, so funny.
That would be something. So Ransom escapes, and at the same time, she's in the room with Wan-Ho. She stabs him, and Ransom comes in. They kind of have another argument, like, "Oh, I tried to save your life," and whatever.
What are you doing here?
Then they begin their escape. He uses an M60 and a bunch of grenades. She uses an M16 of sorts. They shoot a bunch of people. The Filipino stuntmen are, going crazy, doing flips and moving their bodies in crazy ways, and it's all in slow motion, so it looks really cool. And
what blew my mind here was this felt like the end of the movie to me. This,
right?
I knew
it could have been.
I had like another 20, 25 minutes to go, but like I felt like this is it, right? This is the big moment. Nope. We're not done
what's
yet.
interesting is, so the last 30, well, maybe 25 minutes or so is pretty much all action. And, I'm going to make an argument for Bruno Mattei, specifically with this convoy scene coming up, that he really would have been a good second unit director of just action. Like, I actually think he really does a good job directing action scenes, especially if you give him some money, because it's not like he has too much of it here. He has just enough to make something work. But if you actually gave him money, like, he would be a good second unit director of almost anything if you asked him to do it. I think this convoy scene specifically, it's actually a really good recreation of the Indiana Jones convoy scene.
My favorite part about this is they steal this truck and they break out and all the bad guys are shooting at them like, shit, they're getting away. And then all of a sudden, spoiler or big twist, there's a shit ton of bad guys and the one of the leaders of the bad guys just in the back of the truck holding Miss Boom hostage.
Yeah, that I thought was actually pretty hilarious. That's at least enough of a change from the convoy scene where you like they don't have that moment where you see the people are in the back of the truck before he looks in the mirror, because in Raiders of the Lost Ark it's Harrison Ford looking in the mirror to see it, and it's actually very funny. You get the great Mary Stavin acting moment when he picks her up and she just goes 0 to 100. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
It's just wonderful. Yeah, the convoy scene. You got guys climbing all over the truck. You got people getting knocked off of the truck with driving into a wall of trees, and then they're crashing through scaffolding that some workmen are doing stuff on. And it's just all in slow-mo craziness. It just, oh my God, it's so fun. So these two get away, and the reason she doesn't have the diamonds on her is because Juan To was holding them when she stabbed him, and in his death grip, he held onto them. So they have to go back.
I love how as soon as he cuts her loose, she immediately punches him in the face for putting her in the back of the truck.
So good.
They have the exact same argument they had earlier where she says, she's basically like, "You asked me if I'm okay." Like, after what you just did, it's the second time in the movie she does that. They tied me up like a Christmas turkey,
Oh my God. Yeah. And her accent, she's Swedish, I think. And her accent is so funny. I could have sworn she was Italian, just because there's times where you're watching these movies and you're used to them being dubbed, where everybody's dubbed. And then all of a sudden we fast forward to the late 80s when nobody wanted to do the dubbing anymore because either they were getting laughed out of the theaters in America, or the live sound had finally gotten so cheap that even the Italians were willing to use it. I'm not sure what the change was in it, but it's like you had a lot of people from multiple countries who had been in a bunch of movies acting alongside people who were speaking English as their first language. So it's this melange of accents from different countries.
Well,
I just immediately assumed she was Italian.
It didn't stop Mattei, because even in the 2000s, in the early aughts, when he was still making his cannibal movies, those are still dubbed. Like, Ted Russoff is still doing dubbing in those movies.
Whoa, I did not know that.
Oh yeah, if you watch some of those cannibal movies, you can hear Ted Russoff's voice playing the main character in some of them. Even still, good for him, still making money on that dubbing. Well into the aughts, good for him. And Mattei still making those movies, movies that are like that. Good for him when no one else was still doing it. With Mary Stavin and Brent Huff, apparently they're still friends to this day. They did a commentary for the Severin release of Born to Fight, which to me is a big deal, because you almost never get actors to do commentaries for these cult films. Almost never. That was really cool to hear them do the commentary for that on the Severin Blu-ray. That was a big get by David Gregory to make that happen.
Let's see. I definitely have not seen that one. That looks amazing.
It's basically Crocodile Dundee and the African Queen mixed with Indiana Jones and First Blood Part 2.
Man, They really milked that First Blood Part 2 to death, man.
Oh
That's
yeah, well,
crazy.
every single ripoff was pretty much had some of that in there.
That's so great.
He's rampaging. He's rambunctious. He's romantic. Rampaging, rambunctious, ramatic, Rambo. See him in action. Rambo. Next.
So they go back. Tell us about the grenade launcher, the big money stuff.
As Joe Bob Briggs would say, it's just grenade launcher foo. You know, Ransom is using that grenade launcher and just using it on like hut after hut, on like like watchtower after watchtower. Like there's like probably like a good like 5 or 6 explosions and Filipino stuntmen just flying everywhere.
Yep.
Mary Stavin just smiling the whole time as it happens.
Yes,
somehow she can fly the helicopter.
Yeah.
I don't know how. She went into the Matrix and put in, let me learn how to fly this helicopter real quick. And then he gets out and he does the whole Rambo 2 thing where he shoots up the drug lab with the M60 before he confronts Jenkins. Does the same thing that Sylvester Stallone does to Charles Napier at the end of Rambo 2 by stabbing the knife right next to him into the desk.
I love how we got the 2 scenes, one from each Strike Commando, where he's shooting up like a radio room, or in this case, a drug lab with the M60. Perfect. Just cut them both together. It's freaking wonderful.
Yeah, and again, not Reb Brown. Brent Huff looks really good using it, and that's like a heavy gun. Like some people, it may not look right when they use it, but he looks great using it. He looks awesome using the grenade launcher. Like he does look awesome as an action hero in this movie.
Nice. And then we get the exact choreography and staging almost of the big fight between Gary Busey and Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon. We even have a burst pipe, which is spewing water into the air so they can do it in the rain, just like I think it was a fire hydrant in Lethal Weapon that they're fighting under.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This part was so funny.
Although,
and of course,
if you go back and watch that Lethal Weapon fight, it is horribly edited. Like it actually does not look all that great. If you try to watch it, it really doesn't look particularly great. And I like Lethal Weapon for the most part, but that final fight, if you try to watch it and you like really look at the editing, some of it is kind of indecipherable. It doesn't look particularly great. I think Donner did a better job with the comedic aspects of that film than he does with the action aspects.
Yeah.
And that particular fight scene is one of them. And Gary Busey is my best friend. So of course I am not being biased when I said Gary Busey. If you look up my name and Gary Busey's name, you're going to find a ton of search results. So please go for it.
I think you need to set up a website, GaryBusey'sMyBestFriend.com.
Well, when Gary Busey got accused of all this like sexual assault stuff at a con, all these places were using my picture with him.
Oh.
So I got a ton of attention for it. Like people like Fox News and the Daily Mail and all these places were using my picture. It was pretty funny because it was basically my 15 minutes of fame because I was just getting nonstop attention for like a couple days because of that.
Oh my God.
That's why I say Gary Busey is my best friend as a joke. No, go Google Ian Urza and Gary Busey. Just go.
Maybe don't get that website.
Fighting women now, are you, big man? I'd like to dance a few rounds with me.
That will be a real pleasure.
He defeats Kramit just in the fisticuffs, but of course he's about to like put his arm around Miss Boom, and that's when Kramit tries to shoot him, but of course she takes him out. And it's not just that it's in slow motion, it's that each person holding a gun in this scene has a very long time to shoot first, and it's trying to build tension, and then she shoots him, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, no, I will give the ending of Lethal Weapon one thing is that part looks pretty good when they they don't have much time to shoot Danny Glover and Mel Gibson in that particular scene at the end. But you even get the moment where she's like, let me kill him. And he's like, no. And then he gets his face shoved in the mud. That's all the same as Lethal Weapon
It's
as well.
so amazing. These weren't just movies isolated to America, and then they were smuggling the tape into Italy. These were international hits. So and this was also marketed to the US VHS.
Maybe not as much as the first one, but people were finding it all the time in video stores. Maybe Quentin Tarantino sold some at some point. I don't know.
Maybe cooler heads prevailed. Maybe the producer's like, don't send this one to America, dude. We'll get sued. The villains are defeated, and good old Rosanna Boom and Mr. Ransom are walking off, and they're getting back into their kooky talking, but now it's like a romantic kind of a thing. I love it.
Well, what's funny is they have like the same type of relationship in Born to Fight, where it like feels acrimonious, and then all of a sudden they kind of like each other.
It's so good. The composer, Stefano Mainetti, his music for this is bonkers. It reminded me of some of the music from Hong Kong movies, like the Lucky Stars films, and it's just such a kooky mix of music. But he also did the music for Zombie 3 and Ratman, which I just saw for the first time recently.
Gotta watch Ratman. I still haven't watched it yet.
It's interesting. I like it. I would not say I loved it, but it's definitely got some vibe. Some
got
some
that
good old
Severed
horror
Films
vibe.
Blu-ray, so at least it'll look good. Isn't Radice in that too?
Yes. I'm trying to remember now. I think was it Cauldron put that one out?
Yeah.
Right.
David Warbeck.
Speaking of
David Warbeck. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He Radice is not in it for some reason. I thought he was, but Janet Agron's in it. I like her.
Yeah. She's great.
Yeah.
The Radice needed to be in it. Should have been in it.
Yeah.
But yes, the producer of this, as a frequent Fragrasso and Mattei collaborator named Franco Gaudenzi. He's produced a ton of their most important shit together. It's cuckoo. And then we got cinematographer Riccardo Grassetti, who shot this, of course, Double Target, and the first Strike Commando, among other things.
Nice.
And I don't have any trivia on this whatsoever.
I don't think you're going to find much on IMDb. They normally don't have too much for these kind of films. I think the best thing I could do was point out what they were saying about working with Richard Harris during that. At one point, when Ransom has that sort of emotional outburst after Vic betrays him. After that scene was filmed, Richard Harris came to him and said, "Hey, cut your acting in half here. You don't need to go that all out with it." And Brent Huff took it to heart. He actually said, "No, that was actually good advice." And yeah, I agreed with him. I probably needed to dial it down a bit. So
there's some stuff on IMDb that's fun as far as trivia goes. Brent Huff says that he was in the best shape of his life because of the physical action, saying that he did his own stunts. And during the filming, he ate nothing but fruit and fish.
Yep. Yeah, he did talk about that. And you can see that he's doing his own stunts in this. The thing on the truck and all the fight scenes. Yeah, he looks good doing the kicks and everything too. He's agile, he's in good shape. He does well here.
Apparently he was going to be tortured much more in the movie. He was supposed to be being held for 2 weeks in this camp. And they had him in a cesspool of pig's excrement, and then they're having him whipped and beaten with bamboo sticks. But then
they already did enough of that in the first movie. They didn't need to replicate that.
Yeah, so they cut all that out of the screenplay and just went for the lethal weapon torture. So Ian, how do you feel about Strike Commando 2, or as I call it, Strike Commando 2?
I love it. I think it might be my favorite of the Bruno Mattei, non-exploitation films, or macaroni combat films. Of I think the 5 he made, I think this one actually might be my favorite. I mean, the first one's up there for me as well. I think it's these two that are my absolute favorites, but I love the other three as well.
Cool. Yeah, I am in love with this. This is one of my favorite movies of the year. I just love the freaking chemistry or whatever that is between Ransom and Boom, between Mary Stavin. Is that it?
It's either Stavin or Stavin.
Stavin or Stavin. Her and Brent Huff, the chemistry is just insane. I love when the movie just stops from the action to have them just talk. There's a lot of garbled movie dialogue. Some people talk real fast in this, and you have no idea what in the world they said. I like this one better than the first one. Yeah. Thank you for bringing this into my life. This is great.
Awesome. Glad I could be of assistance.
Hell yeah. So, before I let you run for your life back into the jungle, do you have a recently seen and loved film that you want to talk about?
So, with Gene Hackman's passing fairly recently, I decided earlier today I watched The Package, which is sort of maybe a little bit lesser known movie that he did with Andrew Davis directing. It's like the Andrew Davis movie people forget because people usually remember Above the Law, then Under Siege, then The Fugitive. People may infamously remember Chain Reaction after that. But The Package is one he kind of made in between in 1989 with Tommy Lee Jones and Gene Hackman. And it's kind of one of those governmental conspiracy thriller movies. And it kind of ages well because it's about this supposed Russian and American peace deal between the two presidents. And basically the military-industrial complex of both countries, specifically the Americans, wants to break that up and make sure it doesn't happen. So they're trying to assassinate the Russian president when he gets onto American soil at Chicago, because of course that's an Andrew Davis specialty in Chicago. He uses it in a lot of his films, The Fugitive, Above the Law, Code of Silence specifically.
Nice.
And Tommy Lee Jones is the one playing the assassin, which is awesome. And Gene Hackman plays like a military police officer who's pursuing him when he finds out about the conspiracy. He's basically in another country at the beginning, attending like the initial peace conference, and he finds out about it after there's a shootout with two Germans who infiltrate, trying to basically assassinate this one American general who doesn't want to go along with the plan, and they do succeed, actually. So that's an interesting part of it. But the movie, I'm going to list off some of the cast members.
Please.
And it has a ton of the cast members from some of his other movies, but it's got Joanna Cassidy in it. She plays the female love interest. She was in Blade Runner. She plays Zora in Blade Runner. She's the one who Harrison Ford gets into that big chase scene with that ends with her going through the broken glass. John Hurd from Home Alone is in it.
Wow.
Playing the American general. He's one of the main villains of the movie. Of course, Dennis Franz is in it. It's a Chicago movie, so he has to be there. Pam Grier is in it in a small role.
Cool.
Chelsea Ross, who's in a ton of these films, is in it. Marco St. John, who played the sheriff in Friday the 13th Part 5, and he played the villain in the Clint Eastwood movie Tightrope, is also in it. So you got a ton of good people in this.
I need to see The Package. I remember right when you mentioned Tommy Lee Jones, I remembered when it came out, but I did not see it.
He's like become one of my favorite actors, like over time, like just one of my favorite American actors, like because I watched Rolling Thunder for the first time not too long ago, and I thought he was awesome in that when he was younger.
Nice.
And last year's American Giallo month on Black Club Mysteries on Land of the Creeps, Greg and I watched Eyes of Laura Mars, and it was really cool to see him in that as well.
Yeah, he had the unibrow in that movie, rocking it.
Yeah,
that was wild. The movie, a recently seen and loved movie that I watched. I finally got out the Blu-ray of Les Ormes, or Footprints on the Moon, starring good old Florinda Balkan. Absolutely amazing film. Very quiet, very mysterious and opulent in its like tone, pacing, and then the cinematography. I think it's Bozzoni.
Bozzoni directed it. It's Storaro did the cinematography for it. The cinematography,
that's why it's so beautiful.
Amazing. Yeah. It's, Greg and I covered that actually fairly recently. We did a Bozzoni, sort of wrapped up Bozzoni's movies fairly recently, and We liked it. We didn't necessarily love it because we thought at the end we didn't really understand like what was going on. Like there wasn't much of an explanation for it.
Right.
So we
It's
kind of
open-ended.
lamented that.
Yeah.
But I still enjoy the movie for the most part, and it looks amazing. You've got Nicoletta Elmi in it as the little girl as well, who's always great. Klaus Kinski is in it as well, and in kind of one of those weird Klaus Kinski roles where he's probably on the set for like a day or something.
Yeah, I always wonder, like, would he be an asset to that kind of a role? You know, like, no, I mean, an asset to a production? Like, would it be better to have him just for an afternoon than, you know, to commit to, like, the full Kinski where who knows what you're going to get?
Well, I think for the most part, that's what he did with a lot of these films. He's not really the star of many Italian films, if you think about it. I mean, there's that one spaghetti western, and God Said to Cain, where he was the star. But for the most part, he's not really a star of a lot of films. He
did a movie, I want to say it was called The Net, Das Netz. Yeah, Das Netz, 1975, same year as... I believe, as Footprints on the Moon. But yeah, it's a German mystery film. I believe it's German. Of course, it's got Kinski in it. But he does the weirdest thing. He plays like this like kind of shady journalist in it. And there's a sequence where I think Kinski's like, wait, I'm just showing up at the apartment? And they go, yeah. He goes, I got an idea. You guys go to the top floor and I'll run up every flight of stairs and come knock on the door. And they were like, okay. Because it happens for no reason. Kinski's character just steals the movie for like 3 minutes while he runs up like 4, 5, 6 flights of stairs. It's so weird.
Did you ever hear what he said about turning Spielberg down to be in Raiders of the Lost Ark? Ironically, he was supposed to play Major Todd in Raiders of the Lost Ark, the guy with the glasses.
No.
He said he read the script and he said to Spielberg something like, this script is a boring and yawn-inducing pile of shit, and turned him down.
I have. As soon as you started saying that, I was like, yes, I have heard that. What a son of a bitch.
No, for sure.
Well, dude, thank you for hanging out. Before you literally stop talking to me, how can folks find more Ian in the world?
So you can follow me on Twitter or X, Blue Sky, and Instagram at Urzanomics. My name is the same on all of those. You can find me on Letterboxd if you just type in my name, Ian Urza. No one else has this. It's a pretty unique name. You can add me on Facebook if you want. And you can find me on the Land of the Creeps Horror podcast for their double episodes on the Black Love Mysteries segment, where Greg Amortis and I review mainly giallo and horror, Italian horror films. We also do Italian genre cinema in general.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here, dude. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll get Strike Commando 3 made.
Yeah, I would enjoy that very much.
Get the Kickstarter going.
Yeah. Sure, we'd have a few people donating. Maybe like 3 or 4.
Hey. Bye, folks. Folks, thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you'd like to write into the show, send an email to doomedmoviethon@gmail.com or hit us up at doomedmoviethon on Instagram or at doomedmoviethon on Twitter or at doomedmoviethon at Discord, or go to Hello This Is the Doomed Show on Facebook and message us there. If you want more Hello This Is the Doomed Show, go to doomedmoviethon.com and click the podcast button for the archive, or go to YouTube and look up Doomed Moviethon and you'll find the classic episodes of Hello, This Is the Doomed Show. And if that's still not enough, I have written some books, about my love of movies over on Amazon.com. Just look up Richard Glenn Schmidt and you'll find Giallo Meltdown, a Moviethon Diary, Giallo Meltdown 2, Cinema Somnambulist,
or Doomed Movie-thon, the book. Hello, This is the Doom Show is a proud member of the Legion Podcast Network. Go to legionpodcast.com and check out the other great shows over there.